Hey guys, welcome back to The Composed Artist. I'm Stephanie, your host, and I'm excited to be back. Last week we took a little break. I was at the beach with my family and I did not record an episode to go live. So we took a little break. I hope that you enjoyed your time doing something else. But this week I'm very excited to be sharing a conversation I just had with Chloe Campbell. She is a live painter. She is the owner, the founder of the Cloud Studio Agency, which is an agency of live painters and portrait artists and guest illustrators. And she's located in Charleston, right outside of Charleston. But also, she founded Layover Events. And she's got a couple events coming up. And so I really wanted to tell you guys about them because we have a deadline for enrollment coming up in July. And I didn't want you to miss it. What's going on with me? I'm pregnant. I'm very, very pregnant. I'm just entered my third trimester and I just painted my last wedding for the summer. So I'm entering maternity leave, kind of my break for weddings, a little bit earlier than I have in the past. This is number 4 for me. This is pregnancy number 5, which is insane. I can't believe I've been pregnant 5 times. But yeah, so we're in the summer. My kid's schedule is crazy. I've talked about this before. And Chloe is actually expecting her second. And so she's due a month ahead of me. And we talk about that in the podcast. But it was nice to kind of chat about that last wedding before baby. She gave some good advice for artists who are either working while pregnant or thinking about planning for that next chapter of their lives. We had a really great conversation. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one who is struggling to put thoughts together. Oh my gosh, there are some funny parts in the episode where we both are like a little frazzled, which I love and appreciate. Makes me feel a little better. Yeah, we didn't want to talk too much about being pregnant. I am going to record an episode about working as a live wedding painter, traveling while pregnant, while like immediately after having a baby, while being a mom. That's a whole thing. It's a whole topic that I'm sure I'll have to do a part 1 and 2 of because I have a lot to say about that. But we did talk a little bit about that shared experience, and then we dove into layover. So without further ado, let's jump into this episode with Chloe Campbell. Welcome to The Composed Artist, the podcast where we explore the intersection of artistry, entrepreneurship, and self-improvement and continue to pursue a more composed life. I'm your host, Stephanie, an artist specializing in live wedding painting, living in the vibrant and soulful city of New Orleans. Over the past decade, my job has taken me all over the world, meeting and creating art in front of thousands of people, and has allowed me to create a colorful life for myself and my family. Now, I help other artists build confidence, develop their techniques, and fall in love with the art of live wedding painting. I invite you to join us for inspiring stories of creative journeys, practical tips for running a successful art business, and honest conversations about the joys and challenges of running a studio and being a parent. This podcast is here to keep you company, keep you entertained, and is full of resources to help you on your journey to create a business that feeds your soul, makes an impact, and is insanely profitable. The Composed Artist is the podcast for the bold, creative, passionate, and genuine artist. Let's get started. How are you? How's your summer going?
It's going great. We have just been hanging at home. I had my last wedding this past weekend, up until the due date. And so now it's just time to soak in these last moments of having one baby and just being able to sleep. So
Oh
we're
my
doing really
gosh.
well. How
What
are
a
you
great
guys
plan.
doing?
Oh, we're doing good. I'm doing more than just sleep, but I will get to sleep eventually.
You will.
What will be the age difference between your two?
18 months.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. Super fun.
That's the same age gap as my sister and I. So I'm like excited for that. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. We aren't finding out. So I think either way it'll be exciting because I love having a sister so close, but also it would be nice to like know that we're having a boy. We're like, well, that we have both.
Yeah.
So,
And then, neutral decor, neutral onesies, and then Amazon delivers in a day. You're fine.
exactly. Oh, well, honestly, I realized that like if you don't find out, people like get you the stuff that you need.
Yes.
And then the baby comes and like it's endless gifts forever. Like I am still like I never buy anything for Cora because my mother-in-law, my mom, like we went over there last night. Oh, matching 4th of July outfits for all the kids. I'm like, perfect. So
You figured it out.
it's yes.
You
So if
figured out
anyone
the
is
hack.
considering, that's definitely a pro.
Oh, yeah. That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you. And you're due
Yes.
in August. So
August, yes, beginning of
you're
August.
you're like a month. You're about a month ahead of me, and I have another
Yeah.
friend who's expecting a month ahead of me too. I'm so envious. I'm due in September, which is right there. Like technically I'm in my third trimester, but also the way I can't stop feeling is like I have, the whole summer is going to come and go, and then school's going to start. And then a month later, I'll have a baby. But that's okay. It gives
Mhm.
me plenty of time cuz I just did my last wedding on Saturday too, and I want to talk about that. I want to hear how your experience was, because I it was so fun, and I'm glad that I took the job. I'm glad I kept
Good.
the wedding. And I've worked in the past up until like a month before my due date. So this was a bigger gap, but this is number 4 for me, and I really need a minute.
Yeah.
But how was your experience painting? Because you actually did the one painting. You didn't do guest portraits. So how
Mhm.
was that? Was it local? Did you stand the whole time? How was it?
Yeah, so it was honestly this past weekend was a lot better than the weekend before, which I can talk about both because I mean you're in New Orleans,
Hmm.
you know the heat even worse
Hmm.
than I do being in Hilton Head, and so this past weekend it was raining and that it was super humid, but that really kept the temperature like significantly lower than the weekend before. And so I felt pretty good. Um, I did stand the whole time. I took like maybe uh, 3 5-minute breaks. I was shocked, and then I stayed an hour longer than I said I was going to. I really was shocked at how well I did, but I had 2 of my artists there doing the fashion illustrations, which I feel like that kind of takes your mind off things because it's like, oh, checking in, like, how are you guys doing?
Hmm.
Like, let me get some photos and videos of you. Like, I feel like that definitely helped me because the weekend before I didn't have anyone and it was 95 degrees and like literally
Mm.
100% humidity, and I had a umbrella but it only covered like my top half and my bottom half was getting burnt,
Mhm.
and I think I had someone think that my water broke because I below my belly I didn't realize was completely soaked. And oh my gosh, like literally, like, are you okay? Do I need to call someone? And I'm like, oh gosh, no, I'm fine, sorry. Like it was like very
Oh
embarrassing.
my god, that's so funny.
uh, and I was in a silk dress, but it was like the only
Oh.
thing that fit and went
Mhm.
with the colors of the wedding. So I was like, yeah, I was definitely embarrassed, but everyone was so sweet. The bar, I was right next to the bar, and they're like bringing me over another glass of water like every 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
that one was a lot harder physically, and I barely made it to the time I said I was going to be there till.
Mhm.
But this past weekend it was better than expected, and it was local. Well, in Charleston, which I still say I'm in Charleston, but
Yeah.
I do live in Hilton Head. It's like a 2-hour drive, so I did it all in one day, just there and back. And
Yeah.
so it went well. It was a good ending to the season for me. I know with Cora, I was due in February. So I actually worked until 3 weeks out from my due date, mainly because that last wedding was a planner friend. It was her wedding. And so I'm like, well, if you want to risk it, we can keep it. And she
Yeah.
did. Uh, but this was summer is a whole different ball game. How did you
Yeah.
feel?
I feel
Were you
good. I
local?
had no, it was not local. I was telling you before we started recording, we just drove back in from the beach. My family
Hmm.
and I went to it was Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area, so it
Yeah,
was like a 3.5,
so
4 hour
pretty.
drive, and went with some friends and stayed in a big house, and it was like a families kind of thing, and it was very fun. But it's not a vacation. Like when you when you vacation with kids, it's not really a vacation. It's a family trip, and so it was
Yeah.
exhausting. Very fun. Glad we went. Long night, long drive coming back, and then woke up the next morning and drove almost 5 hours to North Louisiana. So it was in Louisiana, but it was all the way up by Shreveport, which is almost out of Louisiana. And so it was a long drive, but again, a planner. I just posted about it on Instagram, a little reel, and I mentioned my friend Delia Jeff Coach. You have like your planner friends who, if they text you, they've already sold the idea to the client. They just want to know if you're
Yeah.
available. And when she booked me last year, like she texted me last year, and I was like, "We are going to the beach, but I'll make it. I'll be there." And it was a very long drive. And then I was supposed to drive back. I'm usually, tell me, are you like this at the end of a wedding? You're kind of like running on an adrenaline high. You're a little like jazzed.
Yep.
So that's usually how I am at the end of the night, and it's hard for me to
Yeah.
settle down. It takes a minute. Well, if
Yep.
it's like a 2 hour drive, usually I'm like, oh, I'll make that, no problem. I'll be wide
Yeah.
awake. It'll be 2 in the morning, but I'll still make it good. And
Hmm.
so usually coming back from North Louisiana, because I do weddings there a couple times a year, I'll stop at about halfway and stay at a hotel and then make the rest of the drive. But this
Yep.
time I powered through because it was Father's Day yesterday on Sunday, and I was like, oh, I'd much rather just wake up in my own bed with the family and like start the day. So I got back at 4:30 in the morning. So the job
Um,
itself, very enjoyable. The bride's father was a is a floral designer, so the flowers were popping. They were beautiful. Oh my gosh! I
yes.
walked in. It was like, thank you. This is gorgeous, and finished it by the end of the night. But the drive, being on the road for almost 10 hours in one day, I had like restless legs at
Yeah.
night. Like I couldn't get to sleep. But otherwise, the job
I.
itself was wonderful. It was inside. And it rained the
That's great.
whole drive up. I was like driving slow. It took me longer than it should have for me to get there because I was taking my time because it was
Yeah.
storming, but it stopped right before the guests arrived. So it was perfect.
That's that's awesome.
Hey,
No.
live wedding painters. Have you taken a minute to evaluate your business yet? Have you started to think about next year yet? As this year comes to a close, it's important for each of us to take a moment and reflect. Did you hit the goals you set for yourself? Did you set goals at the beginning of the year at all? Was there any clarity in your vision for your creative business? Or have you just been hanging on for the ride? Now, imagine starting next year with a clear plan. A year where you're building a stellar portfolio and booking dream weddings, showing up with confidence and taking bold steps toward your career goals. That's exactly what my goal setting workbook is here to help you achieve. Created for the members of my online course, The Wedding Painter's Blueprint, the Goal Setting Workbook is more than just a place to jot down ideas. It is your roadmap to success for the year ahead. With guided evaluations, you'll identify your unique personal and professional challenges. You'll address physical and psychological elements that might be holding you back. And you will set clear, achievable goals and map out the steps to reach them so you can turn your vision into reality. This workbook is free to download and print so you can physically write down your goals. It includes tools to help you track your growth and adjust as needed, and will actually help you take vague dreams and turn them into concrete plans, and turn those plans into real success. Next year doesn't have to feel uncertain. The goal setting workbook will help you take charge of your career and step into the new year with purpose and direction. Click the link in the show notes to download your free version of my goal setting workbook and kick 2025 off with clarity.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I have an artist on the team who she's like, "Oh, my last, however many months of pregnancy," she's like, I didn't care what I was painting, where I was painting, but I was like had to be inside. And I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think next time around, if I'm doing the summer, I think I will definitely just be like, you know what? Let's just plan for a spot for me inside.
Yeah. Summer weddings are no
Because it
joke.
does make a difference. Like, in
Mhm.
I think the hardest part for me is I'm so self-sufficient and I don't want to, like, I want to be the planner and anyone's least stressful part of the day. Like, I don't want
Yes.
them to worry about me. And I
Mhm.
felt like I was a burden, which I know I wasn't, but like I felt like there were too many people checking on me and I didn't like
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah.
so I think that just has to do with, like, yes, I want to be flexible and I want to be a part of the entertainment, but also like you have to be mindful of your own health, and like you're
Mhm.
still doing the job and you're doing it excellently, but like they're just, you have to make some adjustments, I think, towards the end.
Absolutely. I plan to record an episode about doing this type of work while pregnant or postpartum, even. So that's
Yeah.
going to come soon. But do you have any advice for women who are pregnant or planning to become pregnant and like thinking about how it would affect
Hmm.
the job? Do you have any advice for women who are in our boat who are doing this while pregnant or even postpartum?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like to start planning years in advance, which I know sometimes you can't do this, but for me, like the minute I knew I was going to marry Michael, like we like started working towards this, like where we are now. Because I think, being pregnant, yeah, like you can still do your job, but the
Hmm.
minute that baby comes, if you're just, working, if it's just you, like, yes, you're going to take time. And I think it's perfectly fine to tell people on social media, like, hey, I'm, you know, in my maternity leave. I'll get to my emails next month. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I didn't want my business. And at that point, I was employing people.
Hmm.
And so I didn't want, like, the business had to move on. Like, it had to continue to grow. And, people were relying on me for their livelihoods. So, like, I had to make big transitions. And for me, that looked like hiring an assistant who could manage the inbox. And, she
Hmm.
worked part time for the first year and a half until I could afford her for full time. Um, and then when I was pregnant, I ended up putting a search out for a manager, someone who could take over like the higher level stuff, because I think there needs to be different levels of leadership. And so, like, I think all those things, like, they didn't just happen like, oh, I'm pregnant, now I need to put these things into place. Like, I had to think about it. I had to be able to afford it. And um, it was a slow process. So I think, like, thinking about things as early as possible and like kind of setting up a like mini business plan of like how to get there would be my advice.
Fellow entrepreneurs, listen up. Let's talk about protecting your business. We all know that having a solid contract is essential, but drafting them is daunting and can be very expensive. I'm an artist, I'm not a lawyer for a reason. That's where the legal page comes in. The legal page offers attorney drafted contract templates tailored for creatives and small business owners like you and me. Whether you're a photographer, an artist, a business coach, a designer, or an event planner, or what have you, they've got you covered. These templates are easy to customize and come with very clear instructions that include free future updates. That's huge. I was honored to be asked to review their live event artist contract, and it checks all the boxes for me. Don't leave your business vulnerable. Invest in peace of mind with the Legal Pages contract templates. So, if you're ready to get your business legally legit, head to the show notes and click the link to save 10% off any product in the shop, or use my code StephanieG10. Again, get your business legally legit with a Legal Page contract today. So, what have you done differently for this second pregnancy compared to your first in terms of preparing or even the work itself?
Yeah. So obviously, every time you go through these things, you learn something. So
Mhm.
I think for me and for the team, the biggest thing that we learned was I've always been like the leader and led the team calls. And so that was something that was lacking because, you know, when you bring in someone new, they don't have that connection with the artist maybe that I had
Mhm.
with that person. And so I know you know and hopefully love Elisha.
Yeah.
Elisha King, for you guys who don't know her, you should follow her. She's on our team. She was like one of the first artists, or like that first time I hired somebody, she was in that first round, and she's been there from the start, and she's
Mhm.
just a hoot. We love her. And
Mhm.
so that's what we're doing differently, is she's going to like kind of take over the leadership, like personality part of the team. So that should be great. But as far as everything else, like, you know, the business was still growing. People were still getting booked, like the admin side, everything I feel like worked out really well. So we're going to keep that flowing.
Mhm.
But Alicia's going to come on as a just fun time, a good time.
Alicia's coming on for a fun time. Oh my God, I love that.
Yes.
She's gonna die laughing when she hears that.
Oh yeah.
No, it's so helpful to have somebody on your team who is in it and invested in it, and
Yeah.
is there for the team members,
Yep.
and also knows the goals and knows the
Yeah.
direction you're heading, and someone
Absolutely.
you can lean on and trust. I really can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
Now, in terms
And
of
just the art side of it too.
yeah,
Like, you know, my assistant can't give any feedback on a
mhm,
like critique or how, you know, the travel part went
sure,
at the wedding, like, because they're not living it like we are. They're on the
yeah,
computer side living it, not the like physical side of
yeah.
it.
So on the physical side, when you're not pregnant and you have all of your energy and all of your brain cells are
Yes.
firing on all cylinders, and
Hmm.
the job is hard. Being a live painter is hard, whether it's the
Yeah.
guest portraits or the single masterpiece that we do in
Hmm.
4 to 6 hours, whatever. But when you're pregnant, oh my gosh, your body is under immense stress and strain. You're
Hmm.
growing a baby. Your brain is operating for the baby. The calorie uh, depletion, if you will. Like, it's exhausting just to be pregnant, but then you're doing
Yeah.
this really taxing job. And then if you choose to stand, that's a lot of strain on your back. Do you have any advice in terms of for painters who are packing up for their wedding this weekend and have
Hmm.
never, worked um, under these conditions, these physical conditions? Do you have any advice for them as they prepare for the job when they're expecting?
So I have heard great things about compression socks.
Mhm.
I've used them at home, but not painting. I know there's a few girls on the team who like will wear them under their floral dresses. I have not tried that yet. Have you tried that?
I haven't had them, but mm, I don't my problem is not the compression, it's not the swelling so much in the legs, it's more like the back, the posture,
I know that's my problem. Like,
yeah, stretching, stuff like that.
yes. Yeah, so I haven't tried because that's never really been my issue. So
Mhm.
I cannot sit down and paint. Like
Me either.
I cannot sit down. I am in more pain if I sit down and try and paint because I'm not, yeah, standing straight and like so for me, like so many people tell me to sit down and I'm like, no, like I'll feel worse if I sit down.
Mhm.
I
Well, you're
think
raising
just
you're
taking,
raising your arm up to higher, like
yeah.
you can't.
And then it goes into like your neck and shoulder
Yes.
blades and it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So for me that does not work. I think the
Mhm.
biggest thing physically is like forcing yourself to just sit down and take a break. Like for me, like being outside, like I just every hour would fill up my water, like add electrolytes to it,
Mhm.
go into the AC, sit down, and like just take a moment. Because I
Mhm.
feel like when you're in the flow, like time goes by so quickly and
Yeah.
you can forget to do that, but also like also thinking about the timeline of the day, like I usually get there like 2 hours before the scene that I'm painting. For me, I got there an hour before, so that cut back a little bit. And then like I painted for an hour and then I was like, okay, the guests are about to arrive. Like, let me go sit inside for 5 to 10 minutes right before they get there. So I'm fresh and ready to go, come
Mhm.
back out. and just kind of like looking into the timeline and taking strategic breaks, because you are the entertainment, and like for me, like I don't
Yes.
want to compromise that.
Mhm.
So I just was more structured and planned than normal, of working in breaks and water and snacks.
Definitely. And then like eating a good meal, high protein meal ahead of time. Um,
100%.
I would add to like on your breaks or like when you go to the bathroom, because if you're hydrating, you're going to the bathroom all the time. Doing like stretches where you like hang on the bathroom door or you hang on a door frame. Like you grip the top with your hands and then you just kind of like decompress your spine, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, all of the little things to just kind of take care of your body.
Yep.
It is a short amount of time, as we know, whenever we're painting and trying to finish something in 4 hours, that is like no time at all. Um,
Yeah.
but when you stand and you're in the zone and you're focused on the task, an hour will fly by and you're in one position. So that's
Yeah.
something to think about. But you can totally do it. Like we do
Yeah.
it. We do it all the time. We do it. This is number 4 for me. Number 2 for you, and it hasn't slowed us down. In fact,
Mm-mm.
in the work, it hasn't slowed us down. But in life, you kind of reprioritize a little bit and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
not only do I need the rest right before birth and right and immediately after for sure, but I want to enjoy that time. Like it's so fleeting, like 9 months
Yeah.
goes by like that. And then the baby's here and then it's like, wow, when you're in it, it feels like it'll never end. But
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know about you. I enjoy being pregnant. I think it's magical. And so I do like to take time to enjoy that and then enjoy the
For
babies,
sure.
the toddlers that are here that are then as soon as baby's born. I don't know if anyone's warned you yet, but your 18-month-old is going to feel like a 3-year-old. They're going to be
That's what
huge.
my mom keeps telling me. She's like, just wait until we bring Cora to the hospital to meet the baby, and she's going to be a giant.
She's going to be a giant. And then not only that, but then you're going to like expect her to be mature, like something shifts and they're not the baby anymore. And it's
Yep.
like, oh, and then you have to deal with all those emotions and feelings, but you're a pro. You'll be fine. Oh my God. Well, good. I'm glad you had a good final wedding
Yep.
experience. I also did, and I'm excited to do other fun things. Do you have any other plans this summer other than resting? Are you doing anything like creative or like checking things off the list before baby comes?
I really wanted to like put out a mini series because I haven't done any personal work in a while,
Yeah,
but I can't.
that's wise.
I I am always saying yes, and I'm always pushing myself. And my husband and I had a long talk, and I need I need to relax.
Girl,
So that is my plan. Is my
good.
goal is to, I hate napping, but I might try and take a nap every few days. Float in the pool, take Cora to the pool, just spend
Yeah.
quality time with her, and just like soak it up. Like you said,
Yeah,
it like, because when have the next baby, she's going to be a big girl, and so I do not have any big plans. We're going to have my maternity like plan call with the team. I
mhm.
think it's next week or the week after. So like everybody should know what the plan is, and so July will just kind of be like, working a few hours a day, but resting as much as possible and getting the new nursery ready. So
That's very
nothing big.
exciting. Good. I hope that you
Yes.
stick to that. I hope you do absolutely nothing.
I know. I know.
I am squeezing in a tiny project. Uh-oh is right. I know. What
Uh-oh.
is wrong
Tell
with
me
me?
more.
I wanted the break as well. Oh. But it is like a mini course. I know this
Oh,
is kind of like a
nice.
sneaky peek for people who care and are listening, artists who learn from me, but kind of like a little tech toolkit for those
Nice.
who are really excited about the Wedding Painter's Blueprint. But it opens once a year in the spring,
Mhm.
and for the rest of the year, it's I want to give them something to kind of give them a kickstart
Mhm.
and prepare. So I'm trying to put that together. It's not like a whole course project, but
Yeah.
it's something for me to tackle for the next probably month or 6 weeks. I don't know. We're hopefully a month. Hopefully I can tackle it in a month. Um, but
Well,
that's
you've
the only
got
thing I've got
this.
going on. Now you have something coming up next year. You have two
Yes.
somethings, and we have a
Yes.
deadline to talk about, and that's really why I
I
wanted to bring
guess,
you on. So let's
yeah,
talk
that
about.
that is something that we will be doing. Yes, of course.
You're not doing nothing.
I'm not, yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying, but is
mhm.
that reality? Mm,
You're going to sit down at your computer
you
every
know.
day and you're going to do something. I get it, but it's not like
Yes.
project based like me and
Yeah.
my bad decision to
Well,
start a
well,
project.
most of my work is not painting.
Yeah, I
And
get
so
that.
I feel like I was like, oh, that could be a fun little project. Like my mini series could be like a fun little project that I could do that wouldn't feel like work. But I'm
Mhm.
like, no, I don't want to
When you
do
plan
that.
like a mini series, because you do original work and your work is so beautiful,
Mhm.
it's delicious.
Thank
But
you.
I know same for me. Like when I want to do original work, it's not just no pressure at all because it's different. There's no you know,
Mhm.
I don't feel the weight. But as soon as I decide to do it, it becomes pressure. Like it
Yeah.
becomes is that true for you too?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh,
I have like
what's
3
wrong with us?
done, and I'm like, well, I said I wanted 10 to 15. So, I could get 5 done this
Hmm.
week. And, and it's just like, no, stop.
Hmm.
I don't want to do that. Like, I need to focus on the things that I already have going, which is the deadline at the end of July.
So let's talk about the deadline.
Yeah.
It's been announced. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Layover is having two, not one, but two events next year in two different locations. And
Yes.
so please tell us all about what's coming up and then this upcoming deadline in July.
Yeah. So, this is my third time on the podcast now, which is awesome. But the last time I was on, we talked about Layover Charleston and kind of the
Mhm.
impact that that had on us and, the experience that everyone had in coming together. And it was so great. We had so much fun. But we really, every time I feel like you do something, you learn and grow from it. And we just
Mhm.
had so many people that were like, had great feedback for us. And so the event that we've launched 2 events since Layover Charleston. And next year in 2026, we will be going to Savannah, Georgia in January 27th through 29th. And then we will be going to Maine August 10th through 13th. Charleston was kind of a little taste of a lot of things. And so these two events are really going to hone in on one thing and be really specific.
Mhm.
So, our event in Savannah is going to be fashion illustration based. We have Jessica Durant coming from Atlanta, and she's just amazing. She does live events, but like she's been a fashion illustrator for like pretty much, I mean, her whole life. Yes,
Mhm.
but she did go to school for it as well. And like her resume is so stacked. I don't know, Stephanie, if you've looked her up, but
Oh
like
yes.
I'm she and or if anybody listened to our live on Instagram, like she has people flying her all over the world to do all sorts of things. I'm pretty sure is like I've been seeing her stuff on Pinterest forever since I was
Mhm.
in school. I probably like did a master copy of
Yeah.
some of her work at some point. Uh, and she's so generous with information, just like you. Like there's no gatekeeping. Like she's such an educator, and I love that about her. So we are really going to dive deep into her processes. Kind of starting, obviously, like I feel like anytime you work with someone new, like you want to hear like their foundations of how they work. So we're going to start with some of the foundational things, how to develop your croquis, uh, and then also like working in black and white, looking into vintage, what vintage artists kind of inspired her work, and then move into rendering in color or in watercolor, but also in color, in different textures, patterns. Her work is so fluid. I'm so excited to like really understand her process.
Yeah, this is
Um,
awesome. This is going to be the event for guest portrait artists. If you're an
yes.
artist who listens to this podcast and you work, you offer live guest portraits, this layover in Savannah is going to be where you are going to soak up so much information and inspiration
Yeah.
from some pros. I mean, this is not one you
Oh
want to
yeah.
miss.
And I agree. Because I studied fashion design, I think, and when I started doing this, like I had more of the education behind it, but it's kind of interesting how you pair, what you can do like with a model in a avant-garde dress design versus like painting grandma at the wedding. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're going to be talking about both. So Jessica does live events as well, and I will be there as well as a host. So we're going to talk a lot about like this is these are ways you can explore that creativity, but then also this is how you can put it into practice specifically for live events. So I think that'll be really, really helpful.
That's really exciting. Okay, so the event is in January, and I really
Yes.
appreciate that your layover events are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the middle of the week. So for artists who work on the weekends and do a lot more admin, the weeks are more flexible. Those weekdays are much more flexible
Yep.
for us. I so appreciate that. And then there is a deadline though for enrollment because you are
Hmm.
mm, capping the attendee
Yes.
list.
Yep.
Talk about that for a second.
Yeah. So, and obviously, we need time to plan and prepare. So we are cutting off the deadline July 31st, the end of the month. Um, right before my maternity leave. I
Yeah.
did that on purpose. So that way when I come back, I'm like boom, 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 boom. Like
Yeah.
we have a plan. Uh, but yeah, we're capping it. It's going to be a much smaller group than the last event. We had, I think, 53 in Charleston, and we're capping at 38 for this event. So we're about halfway there, which is wild. But we have a lot of people who are still interested.
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of people who went to Charleston and also want to come to this one, but we also have one in Maine. So I know there's people that are deciding between one or the other. So definitely gather all your information. You can't go wrong with either.
Okay,
But
so let's talk about, but well, before we talk about Maine, where can our listeners go to learn more about Layover Savannah?
yes, so you can go to our website, layoverevents.com/Savannah. That's where all the information is. There's actually a itinerary on there
Mm.
that has all the workshops and also has descriptions of the workshops. So if you really want to know like what it's all about, definitely go there, because I think that was some of the feedback we got last time. Is like, oh, I wish I would have known a little bit more about X, Y, and Z. And
Mhm.
so yeah, we try to learn and do things better for next time. And so that's one of the things that we wanted to put out as soon as possible so that people could make sure it aligns with what they wanted and needed.
No, that's so good. That's really generous of you guys because last year, whenever we had, or earlier this year, it feels like it's been a year.
I
But
know.
layover Charleston, I was in attendance, and then I also hosted a workshop. And if you want to listen, if our listeners want to go back and listen to my kind of recap from that layover event, it was episode 23 on the podcast. Chloe joined me for that one, so that was really fun because I got to hear her like a recap of her experience with hosting the event. But that's a really good one to listen to because it was such a long time coming, like the planning
Mhm.
that was involved and the fact that you started planning the event when in your postpartum period after Cora. Oh my gosh, there's so many moving parts to hosting an event like this, and so having the itinerary
Mhm.
so far in advance. I mean, we're talking like 6 months in advance. So
Yeah.
that takes a lot of planning and commitment early. which is really generous. So I appreciate that. And I know that's probably going to seal the deal for a lot of people as well. So go check out layoverevents.com/Savannah. You may have heard me talk about my little side business, my little fine art print shop. I create an original painting, I take a photo of it, and I print it, and I print it again and again and again. I make hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a year on prints. It's so easy. And I learned everything I know about creating my own prints and printing them in-house from Laurie Ann Gonzalez and her Art to Print course. I highly recommend, if you are an artist and you want to make easy money from your original works and even the commission works, you can resell those as prints. I recommend you check out Art to Print. Laurie Ann has a very direct way of teaching, and you are really going to appreciate her no fluff method of giving you information and telling you exactly what you need to do to make making fine art prints in your own studio a breeze. You can check her out online at learn.laurieannart.com. That's learn at LAURIEANNEART.com, or just click the link in the show notes for my affiliate link. Check her out and thank me later. Now let's talk about Maine. What's going on in Maine? What's the difference between the two so that artists who they can kind of differentiate and choose the right one for them?
Yeah, so Maine is going to be plein air specific, which I know is right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, so I feel like something that's really cool when you bring a lot of artists together is like all they want to do is create.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like Charleston, like, I mean, the good thing is everyone was itching to like get the easel out and get painting. And like people stayed longer in Charleston and painted on the streets. Like it was so fun to see what everyone was doing. But this one is like fully immersed into the landscape, and we will be diving to plein air painting. And we have Eric Jacobson, who's going to be like our lead host for that. He's a local Maine painter, and his work is delicious. Like it is, he is bold, expressive. I mean, you can count his brushstrokes. Like I'm so obsessed. And so he is going to be hosting four different workshops. On it's like he's doing it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And they'll each like kind of build off of each other. He's known for doing, like he calls them, I think, like bold expressive skies. So it'll be like, bold, like kind of leaning into like the sky, the land, how he incorporates architecture into the painting. And then seascapes. The fourth is like
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
The fourth, gosh,
this is so fun. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to not be alone in this world of,
oh gosh.
of like brain fry. Oh,
Goodness. Yes. So the fourth is like seascapes. And so I'm really excited to like learn from someone that's not a live event painter,
yeah.
but then to have that support of live painters there, because Danielle, Jordan, and myself are the other hosts. And so we're going to kind of be like the support system of it and be the ones like leading the conversations. And how do we take this information and bring it back into the work that we do on a daily basis? And so I just love outside perspectives
Yes.
on everything. But I think that this will be a unique experience.
It's going to be incredible. I honestly, and I tell all of my students this, as artists, what we do is combine elements of plein air painting, portraiture, gestural work. I mean, sculpting, like urban scapes. We bring all of this together. You have to be proficient at drawing. You have to be a master compositional designer. Like you have to be really good about bringing all of these elements of art together, in 4 hours. Like you have to be really good at making decisions. And how do we get better at that is by studying other artists who are good at plein air painting, not only the figure, but fast figures, like fashion sketch artists. And there's so much that we can learn from other artists doing other things. If you're a live wedding painter and you're not continually searching and reaching out, even if it's just Instagram. Like, do research and follow new
Mhm.
artists, dive into their styles, all of the different painting styles, all of the different mediums. I follow many. I don't work with watercolors at all, but I follow so many watercolor artists because what I can learn from like light and shadow balance and
Mhm.
temperatures and like those kind of decisions, that's going to influence the way that I paint with oils. So I think that
Oh, yeah.
that's you're on the money. You're absolutely doing the right thing by bringing in experts in other mediums and other forms of art. 100%. And you're doing everybody a great service by providing that opportunity to learn from other artists. And I'm really excited that Danielle is going to be there. She's from South Africa. So this is
Yes.
huge that she's coming in
Huge.
for that. And I
Yeah,
can't
so if
wait
you
to.
guys just wanna meet her in
Mhm.
person, come.
Yeah.
Because
She
this is your chance.
She's very talented. She's a doll. She was on the
She
podcast as
is.
well. Early, one of the first like 10 episodes, I believe
Yeah.
Danielle came on, but she has an agency as well of South African wedding
Mhm.
painters. Like, she's just killing it over there.
Yeah.
I'm just so, and then I love her little Instagram stories because she shares her life on her family's farm, like just, I'd
I know.
love, it's a whole vibe. I love her. So I'm very
I know.
excited. I definitely will be going to that one. That one's going to be tricky though, because it's like the beginning of August. What are those dates again?
The
The
10th through the 13th.
Yeah, that's like the week school
School.
starts. So I'm going to be ditching my
Yeah.
family. Good luck. You got it. Oh, but it's okay. It'll
Sorry.
be worth it. Oh, it'll be worth it. So I'm definitely going to that one. I would love to make Charleston, Maine. And so Charleston, Savannah, but if I have to pick. So
Yes.
what is the web link for people to learn more about Maine?
It is layoverevents.com/Maine.
Perfect.
Every time that we're doing these events, like I'm trying to also like create an experience around it because I want it to be
Mhm.
more than just educational. We want to have a good time.
Mhm.
And so Maine is going to be very like summer camp vibes. This place, Topsail Farm, who's hosting it, is like they have a James Beard award winning chef. They use all local farm to table products. Um, they make their own marshmallows for the s'mores. So like I'm so excited to like have fireside chats at night. We'll be staying in like A-frame cabins. There's also some like bigger rooms as well in the barn.
So we're staying
But
on site at this
people,
place. It's
yes,
and is
yeah.
there a
So
head count? Like, is there a
yes, so
max
this
capacity?
one I don't have it all. I think it's 43.
Okay, but
So
still a
don't
good
quote me on
group.
that, but I think it's also smaller.
Mhm.
Which is why we decided to do two events because we planned this main event. Like, I've been talking with them for like 6 months before we even signed the papers,
Mhm.
but we knew we were going to have to limit capacity. And after Charleston, we had so many people that didn't go that said they're, going to the next one. And so we thought, like, why not kind of hone in on what we want to be studying for each of them and then just do
Mhm.
multiple so that way more people can come and experience it. But the cool thing, so Maine, you'll be staying on property. Your ticket price includes 3 nights on property, all your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner once you get there, and obviously like the cost of the workshops and everything that we'll be doing there.
Mhm.
Um, and then Savannah is does not include your accommodations, but Savannah is such like a walkable, quaint
Yeah.
little city that feels like you could be in Europe. So we for that one wanted to provide a again different experience where like get Airbnbs together and like we're going to go on like walks and it's just going to be a little bit different. So that price reflects not having a accommodations
Yeah, and it
connected
makes a
to
big
it.
difference too. I've done conferences, like business conferences and art conferences. It makes a difference when the cost is all inclusive, for sure. It's something to
Hmm.
think about, but there is something really cool about everybody being on site and everybody being,
Oh
the
yeah.
everybody having a very similar experience Whereas, the events where accommodations are not included and you're kind of on your own to book Airbnbs,
Yeah.
like there's kind of like this like side party or after party happening. Like there's the shared
Hmm.
experience of the conference, but then it's like, wait, where are y'all going to dinner? Wait, where are you staying? Oh, I should have
Yep.
got a roommate. Like there, that's you live and you learn. It's fine. But it's a
Oh
different
yeah.
experience for both of
Yeah.
them.
And we're still like, I feel like in like the learning process. This is a new early developing business, and so like we
Hmm.
do want to try. We're not going to stick to one thing. Like we want to try different things, see what sticks. And also like where we're going in Maine is significantly more rural. Like if you were to have to find your own accommodations, you
Absolutely.
probably wouldn't be anywhere near the venue. So
It'll
so
be a
yeah, so
really fun
that's
it'll be a really fun experience, and then also you're leaning into that plein air environment. You're
yeah.
there, you're one with the earth, you're surrounded by inspiration. Oh my gosh. And honestly, August in Maine sounds delightful because August in New Orleans is not. It is less
Oh,
less than delightful.
summer in the Northeast is a dream. Like I will be
Oh.
eating lots of lobster.
Mhm.
That is like prime time to be there. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm
And
looking forward to it, and you've given us plenty of time to prepare because these are both
yeah,
for
so
next year.
those tickets will go live in September
Okay, good. When I'm on my
for, so that'll be
maternity leave.
a little bit over a year for like those, and then we'll announce the deadline once I decide.
Yeah, you'll
Which
get there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm at that point. I'll be when they go live. I'll be like over a month postpartum, so I'll make the decision before then. But
Yes, and
haven't made it at this
y'all
point.
are very organized, and it'll give everyone plenty of time to prepare. All right, artist friends, if you've been wanting to try oil paints but don't know where to start, I've got the recommendation for you. Chris Fornatero, also known as Paint Coach on YouTube, has an incredible course called The Foundations of Oil Painting. And honestly, it's one of the best resources out there for mastering the basics. Now, I have my own course and mentorship program specifically for artists and live painters. And I'm super proud of the work that we do there. But I'll be the first to tell you, we don't go nearly as deep into the fundamentals of oil painting specifically as Chris Fornatero does in this course. He breaks down everything, not only the materials that you need and how to use them, but also value, color mixing, brushwork, and setting up your palette properly so that it clicks. Whether you're brand new to oils or you just want to strengthen your foundation, this is the course that I recommend. To check out the course and support the show, visit paintwithpaintcoach.com or go to my show notes and click the link there that I've provided. Get the skills, the confidence, and the solid foundation to make your best work yet. Um,
Yes.
yeah, this is really wonderful, and I'm really grateful when you announced Maine was happening, and it was over a year away.
Hmm.
There was this sense of like, oh, we have to wait so long. It really
I
felt like
know.
a year and a half, and then you were like, but surprise, we're going to sneak this one in as well, and it was like 8 months away. That
Yeah.
was very exciting. So we have two options for next
Yep.
year for 2026. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm going to be sharing links to all of the layover pages that you mentioned, and then also the hosts, the guest speakers and the hosts, the artists who are going to be in attendance. They'll realize they've been mentioned on this podcast later. And then also the locations so that you can scout them out.
Yeah.
Where's the venue for the one in Savannah?
The venue is Soho South. It's on Liberty Street. It's more of like a warehouse vibe in downtown,
Cool.
open concept, very different from Charleston.
That's good. That'll be good for like indoor painting workshops and drawing and
Oh yeah.
studio stuff. I like the studio vibe.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And one thing I did, actually, there's two things I wanted to mention.
Yes.
Um, for those who may be concerned about price, everything is listed on the site of like what comes with it so you guys can plan and prepare. But we
Mhm.
also have payment plans. So we have a full price option. And then for Savannah, we have a 6 month payment plan option. And then for Maine, we're going to have a 12-month payment plan option. So that's why we're going to be announcing in September. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more digestible for
Mhm.
those who, I mean, it's so great to invest in your business, but it's, I think, a much easier yes when it's like, $100 or $200 at a time.
Yes,
So
manageable.
hopefully everyone can come.
100%. And what you guys are going to get, please go listen to episode 23 of the podcast, because that was the recap for Layover Charleston, which was the very first Layover conference. And what you're going to get is not just an opportunity to create, which is what we're all desperate for. Oh my gosh, get me out of this studio and in a room with other people. But also, you're in a room with other people who have, you're surrounded by people who do the work that you do, so they get it. They get it. I know maybe 2 or 3 live painters who are married or with somebody who is also an artist or in the wedding industry, who could
Mhm.
even relate. Your husband is an optometrist, right? He's
Yep.
an eye doctor. My husband is a lawyer. They have no interest. And I can't talk to you can talk business, which is great. But in terms
Yeah.
of the art, in terms of like how you feel and how you see the world, just being surrounded by other artists, especially working in the wedding industry. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like it. I've been to, like I mentioned
Okay.
before, I've been to other conferences. I did visit, I went to Engage. You went to an Engage too. Didn't you go to
Hmm.
an Engage in the past?
Yeah, I went to Engage and Emergence.
Yeah, so we've been to wedding
So
industry, luxury wedding
yeah,
industry conferences, and while so fun and so nice to be pampered and be
yep.
immersed in that luxury type of environment, very different from painting workshops and creative
Oh
workshops. And this
yes,
is a
yeah.
really great blend of those two. Very
Hmm.
luxurious, really great experience. Chloe's so classy, you guys. Like I would highly recommend Layover. Um, any of them coming up, but don't wait because they're going to fill up.
Yeah, and for those who are maybe hesitant because you don't know anyone who's going, if you've already been to an event, we just launched a Facebook group, and the Facebook group is only for people who have either been to an event or who have bought a ticket. So
Hmm.
if you're hesitant, still, but you really want to come, still buy a ticket, and then we can add you to the Facebook group. And from there, you can meet people, see who's going, and then coordinate travel or accommodations, all that. Like that was something that we wanted to provide this time, because people like you guys are coming from all over the country and some of you all over the world. So we
Hmm.
want to make sure that like there's, more connection points and, support during the travel time as well.
That's going to be helpful. I remember for Charleston, um, I stayed in a room by myself, and which was nice because it was a little getaway. I love a hotel. I'm going to talk about that in the episode where I talk about traveling as a mom or a pregnant lady. I love a hotel room. Oh my gosh. But I heard that people were sharing Airbnbs, and that sounded like a
Yeah,
lot of fun too. So the Facebook group sounds like it'll be a great resource.
definitely.
Oh my gosh. Chloe, thank you so much for coming and telling us all about your 2 upcoming layover events. I can't wait. Where
Thank
can
you for
people follow
having me.
you and Cloud Agency, your agency of live wedding painters, and kind of keep up with what y'all are doing as artists?
Yes. So you can keep up with the thing I keep up with the most is Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram at by Chloe Campbell. And then my team is at Cloud Studio Agency, and our website is www.cloudstudioagency.com. We have a YouTube channel for those who are watching this on YouTube. You can check us out there. We have monthly vlogs. Um, where else can you find us? TikTok at Cloud Studio Agency. Yeah.
And then
And I
layover.
have a TikTok, but I haven't posted on there in
I
over a
know
year.
mine's a
So
little
maybe
dead
don't look me
too.
up there.
And then where can they just go and peruse layover? Because you have a layover
Oh,
Instagram account too, which
oh
you
yeah, forgot
share.
about that.
You
Yeah.
always share updates on like your stories. Anytime I see the layover little icon show up on my stories, I watch it because it's always something useful or
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. So we have at Layover Events. I try not to post. I mean, if it's really important, I'll repost it on my personal page,
Hmm.
but I try to keep that one to be informational and very specific to the events that we're hosting.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in coming to an event, want to learn more, definitely follow us there as well.
Yeah, follow there because Chloe does live calls with the hosts and with
Hmm.
the workshop hosts and the speakers. I remember you and I hosted a live call there on
Yep.
that Instagram account at Layover Events.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, just good for information upcoming, and you don't want to miss a
Yeah.
deadline. So the deadline for
Yes.
Layover Savannah is July 31st. So go check it out. Start making plans, and then Maine will come out in September likely. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you so much for coming hang out with me and talk about
Th-
painting while pregnant and having babies and layover. This was really fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's always a joy to come and chat and just support each other. I feel like we are so aligned in so many ways and
Yeah,
but doing different things, and so it's refreshing to be able to sit and chat and drink our coffee and just enjoy each other's company.
it is really. Thank you. Thank you so much for being there. I wish you the very best. Don't you dare lift a finger. I hope you take every moment of this break and enjoy, soak up that little baby. I'll be praying for you. Okay, for a healthy delivery.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you. We'll be praying for you as well and your
All right,
growing
girl.
family. And it's a boy.
Mine is a boy. Yes, I have three
Yes, right?
girls, and I
And
have a
now
boy
that's
coming, and
woo,
I don't know what I'm gonna
so
do.
exciting. That's my family was 3 girls and the last was a boy. And it boy, my brother, it was the king of
Oh
the
God.
house. So so good
We'll
luck.
see. My kids are
No,
getting
it's
more and more
amazing.
independent. Each one that comes out, I'm like, you're on your own. You're on your own. But it's so fun. I love it. I'm loving this season of
Oh,
life. Oh my gosh. All right, girl.
I
I'll talk
know.
to you soon. Have a good rest of your summer.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this journey of artistic exploration, entrepreneurial growth, and personal development. Remember, you have the power to create a life that is both fulfilled and balanced. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe to The Composed Artist on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a review. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more creatives like you. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and keep pursuing that composed life. You got this.